Chapel Bill, how's it going to go in UNC with Bill Belichick? What should the Falcons do at quarterback? And should we reconsider playoff seeding in the NFL? It's Takes on Takes today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Joe, happy Friday.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Happy Victory Monday to Los Angeles Rams fans.
Yeah.
Big dub. Knocking the 49ers to the brink, right? 6-8.
Yeah, trouble.
Offense looking like they're in rough shape, and Dre Greenlaw comes back, but then has knee soreness in his first game back after a quick turnaround from an Achilles. And then Devondre Campbell decided he was going to pull Devontae Davis and say it's a young man's game and check out midway through the game and not go in.
I don't think he retired. I don't think he retired, though.
He retired, but he effectively mid-game said, you know what? No, we're not doing this.
Insane, man. Insane.
Yeah. And I applaud the 49ers players after the game.
100%.
They had
100%.
And I don't know what Devondre Campbell thinks is going to happen, but I would imagine he's going to have a really hard time assimilating into a locker room in the future.
I wouldn't have any time for him. He'd be blacklisted for me if I was a GM or a coach. Wouldn't want it. You got the capacity to do that? Yeah. Kick rocks, buddy. No chance you're playing for my team.
So
yeah. But we got a little 49er stuff. We got a little 49er. Yeah, a little 49er stuff.
You're the take master here, so I have no idea what's coming down the pipe. You just told me what to put in the right-hand columns for the segments, and I'm flying blind on the mailbag.
Well, let's do it. I have a couple today that are a take, but somebody submitted the exact opposite take. So it's like a double.
Oh, fun.
It's incredible. Yeah, so that starts with this one right here, which, of course, is going to concern Bill Belichick and UNC. The Sports Nut says UNC will be in the college football playoff within the next 2 years under Bill Belichick. Casey says the Chapel Bill experiment at UNC will be over by the 2027 season, but it won't end his football coaching career. Could you have more opposite takes provided?
You can't. Yes or no, the Tar Heels make the college football playoff in the next 2 years?
No.
I'd be inclined to say no as well.
Generally, though, I could see this going either direction, but I'm fascinated to observe the journey because for as weird as it feels, Bill Belichick knows ball, right? Ball knower Bill Belichick. And the advantages that he's going to step into this ACC conference with, going up against Dabo or Dave Clawson or Dave Doran or whoever these coaches are, and the margins that he's going to be able to find to elevate the performance of the football team, pretty doggone interesting to me. And look, I get the whole thing that I don't really envision Bill Belichick trying to convince 17, 18-year-olds to come to North Carolina. But my goodness, the opportunity, right, to, if you're serious about playing ball, you want to go to the NFL, and you get a chance to go play for Bill Belichick to get you ready and then have that endorsement going into the National Football League, I think it might go a little bit better than a lot of people are anticipating.
Well, I'm kind of inclined to think that the recruiting pitch is just going to be flash the rings and we're done, right? Like, there's your recruiting. If you want to get ready to play at the NFL level, there you go.
Two hands, Kyle.
There's 6 of them.
Right.
And then there's obviously with the way that they are structuring based off of what we've heard about the Bible or encyclopedia that Bill gave to North Carolina about, like, if you want me to come coach here, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources for other people to be the legwork behind the recruiting program at North Carolina. Obviously, there's more time that you'll have to invest in connecting with players and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's so much of a hurdle. I would be surprised if this isn't Bill's last stop, though.
Right. I agree.
Because of where he's at in his career, where he's at in his life. There's obviously sentimental value from his family history at North Carolina. And also, like, I don't know, you hear Bill and his stories, and if you're familiar with his background and his biography and the Naval Academy and like the value that had, like, this was the roots of Bill's life.
Yeah.
And to come full circle like this, and I know there's a buyout clause that drops from 10 million to 1 million in June of 2025. So, like, if the NFL does come up knocking, like, he's going to have the opportunity to make that jump if he wants to. But you're also trying to build a program based on what's been laid out here. And I don't think that that's going to be a one-year thing where somebody's going to see what Bill Belichick does in 2025 and be like, oh my goodness, we need to hire Bill to come back.
You already know. You already know who he
right?
is. Yeah.
So I think this is it for Bill. And I think he'll have success. I don't know how well the success is going to be and how rapidly it's going to come. But I think this is a great final chapter for Bill and his saga with the game of football.
With all due respect to SMU, they just played for the ACC championship. Bill Belichick has now entered the chat. All right. So I think it's going to be okay. I really do.
That'd be good.
Kyle, not this one,
Not
different
me.
Kyle. Kyle says Aaron Glenn is the best coordinator in the NFL this year and should be a head coach next year for what he's accomplished with all the injuries and new faces coming in on a weekly basis is nothing short of remarkable. The job Aaron Glenn has done is unbelievable. They're not just like getting by. This is like one of the premier defenses in the entire NFL, and they do it different, man. They play base 57% of the time. They play 6 different off-ball linebackers. They've had injuries. They've had games where they were down their top 8 defensive linemen, dude.
Yeah.
It's off the. I spent Thursday studying Detroit in anticipation of the upcoming game against the Bills, and I'm like, this is absolutely remarkable. And you want a player coach to be your head coach?
Yeah.
You want a piece of the Lions and what's going on there? Get yourself Aaron Glenn. He'd be the guy I would want if I had a head coaching vacancy to fill.
I would agree.
Dolphins craze.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Brock Purdy. Those are pretty big names, right?
Yes.
Will all not be part of the 49ers organization by the start of the 2027 season.
That's an eternity in the NFL.
So you have next year, the following year, and so 2027.
Right, so Brock Purdy get a contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers.
I feel like he will. Yeah.
I feel like he either will or will have a franchise tag opportunity to extend this thing out a little bit. So I think Brock's going to be here. By extension, it's been a trying year for San Francisco. They've had some injuries. Are we really going to move on from the resume that Kyle Shanahan has? Now, if you have an encore performance next year and you're looking for somebody to be held accountable, right, with air quotes, is John Lynch the most separatable of the three? But for sweeping changes by 2027, I would sell on that.
I would agree with you that the least likely would be John Lynch if somebody has to go.
The most likely?
The most likely to not be there, would be John Lynch. But
that's the opposite of what I said.
Teams don't move on from coaches like Kyle Shanahan. They don't. I don't see this. Spike the ball, Dolphins craze. Spike the ball. But, I mean, we're talking about an NFL that has literally just fallen over itself to get any piece of Kyle Shanahan's influence. And you're talking about the actual guy? Come on, man. I don't see it. But we asked for your aggressive takes. You gave it. We appreciate it. All right, coming up next, little Falcons quarterback conversation, and more. So be sure to stick with us. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. If you love watching the game, you're going to love Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. Whether it's football, basketball, or any of your favorite sports, Prize Picks makes your holidays bigger and brighter. Here's why you need to check it out. You can now win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks. Plus, this holiday season, they're giving away $30 million in rewards during Picksmas and offering 2 free picks in December. And when your picks hit, Prize Picks makes it easy to cash out. You can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes, and they have Venmo. I had fun on Prize Picks last night. I actually had the under on Brock Purdy's passing yards, and I had the over on Kyron Williams' rushing output. So we did well there. I'm also in on James Cook to go more than 49.5 rushing and receiving yards, and I'm definitely in on Khalil Shakir to go more than 55.5 receiving yards. It's quick, it's simple, and so much fun to challenge myself and my friends. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly when you play just $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite, and right now, you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. All right.
It feels like Derrick Henry more than 1/2 a touchdown against the Giants.
It does feel tasty, right?
That's a yummy one for me.
Yeah,
Since
like
we're
that.
using tasty as the I'd stay away from a lot of the yard stuff, but like touchdowns, like Josh Allen.
What do they have, Matt?
You could go rush or receiving touchdowns since he's doing receiving touchdowns now. Justin Jefferson against Chicago. There's some matchups there where it's like, they're going to score points.
Right.
I have to imagine your best player is going to score some points. Like,
get in on it. And they have some, like I had one on Prize Picks that I have for Sunday. I told you in the thing that I had the Khalil Shakir and James Cook more, but they also had like Patrick Mahomes as getting a half of a passing yard. You just toss that in there, you know what I mean? And get yourself
it's
a dub.
A layup one for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they also have the first half injury guarantee. So like, even if Pat goes down
right,
play without any passing yards,
right,
they'll keep it live.
You got it. Yeah. Joe at work, the most high variant teams for the playoffs, meaning they could get bounced round 1 or win the Super Bowl, are the Green Bay Packers and the Baltimore Ravens.
Green Bay Packers.
I think step 1 here is identifying the teams that you think can actually win the Super Bowl.
Okay, so we're going to do look at the current playoff field and then the teams on the fringe. What's your favorite resource to look at these? Like I just go to ESPN playoff machine.
Yeah, I just go to ESPN.com standing sort by playoff. I'm just so used to looking at it like that I can't bring myself anywhere else.
So teams that legitimately feel like can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The 1 seeds, Kansas City and Detroit. The 2 seeds, the Bills and the Eagles.
Yeah.
Of the 3 seeds, the Steelers and Seahawks.
Not the Seahawks.
But the Steelers.
Yeah.
How about the 4 seeds, the Bucks and the Texans?
No. Can't do it.
How about the 5 seeds, the Ravens and the Vikings?
The Ravens, yes.
How about the 6 seeds, the Chargers and the Packers?
The Packers, yes.
And then the Broncos and the Commanders?
No. Can't do it.
The Rams?
No.
You don't think so?
No, come on, man. The defense isn't good enough. It's just not.
How's team football? Hey, just tell the 49ers like 6 points.
No, dude. Dude, their secondary's not.
I'm just trying. I'm trying to get a full.
I don't think it is. Yeah.
So that's it. That's it.
I mean, you could disagree. I mean, you're part of this equation as well. Do you think the Rams can win the Super Bowl?
I think the Rams have the right experience at coaching and the right experience in some key spots that if they got like super hot, like I could see them beating anybody.
Okay, we could put them in there.
Okay.
So who's the most? Who do you? Okay, we said yes, you can win the Super Bowl. Who also can you say? Yep, you know what? I could see the first.
The Rams.
Right. So the Rams, welcome to the party. I think he's right about Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore as well. Baltimore, their A game is better than anyone's A game, but boy, they make it hard on themselves.
Those are probably the most high variance of the teams that we have. Yes, I think that's an accurate assessment.
Okay, so I guess we kind of agree.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, they could get bounced, right?
I guess, but how high variance have they really been?
Not really, but
it feels like they've been consistently. If they're playing, they're not playing down the competition. I know that's the big thing about Mike Tomlin is that the team they've been frustrating at times where they have some losses. I guess the Browns loss 2 weeks ago in the snow in Cleveland was that an example of that. But I don't know. They're 7-1 in their last 8 games.
Right. I think what it comes down to with Pittsburgh, it's not that they're high variance. It's just that you're not entirely sure that they're that type of team.
Right.
Where it wouldn't surprise anybody. They lost to Cleveland, right?
Yes.
So, I know it's a division game.
Do you know how many games in a row the Steelers have 3 turnovers defensively?
Takeaways, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's more than a couple.
It's 4.
That's nuts. Yeah.
12 turnovers in the last 4 games. And somehow managed to lose one of the games in that stretch. But
that game against Philly is going to be interesting on Sunday. I'll tell you that.
Yes. And then Baltimore, they're at Philly, at Baltimore, home against Kansas City next 3. And that's 3 games in 11 days as well. We'll find
Murderers row
for Steelers.
Yeah, they'll probably be looking forward to that to be over with. All right, this is another one of those contrasting takes opportunities.
Okay.
Lieutenant Dan says Michael Penix should have been the starting quarterback for the entire year in Atlanta. And Joe says Kirk Cousins is the 2025 Week 1 starting quarterback for the Falcons.
I think things have to change dramatically in a very short amount of time for Kirk Cousins to be given the benefit of the doubt of being the starter. Because if the season ends the way that it is, Atlanta's going to flush that contract, get out, and just play Penix, right?
100%. The whole thing, the Lieutenant Dan saying that Michael Penix should have been the starting quarterback for the entire year, that smells like hindsight analysis in a big way. I can understand.
Kirk was also fine until a month ago. He wasn't great. He had his limitation. They beat Philly in Week 2 in Philly. They played Kansas City to a 5-point game.
Right.
And it kind of took him a little bit to kind of get his feet wet, and then he had a couple of 4-touchdown games against Tampa Bay, played lights out against the Bucs twice.
Right.
But I don't know, this team was what, 6-3?
Yeah, I think that's hindsight analysis. That's not cool.
They also paid him to be there and be the veteran quarterback for the team.
Everybody was in on Atlanta, man, going into the year. This team's good.
Yeah,
Raheem Morris and Kirk, and they be better on defense. They got an O-line, skill players. Finally, Arthur Smith isn't here. I mean,
I have a stat for you.
Yeah.
With Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins this season has already set a career high in interceptions thrown in a single season.
Really? How many is that? 15. God, he's thrown 15 picks already.
Well, he's thrown 8 in the last 4 games?
That'll get you there.
That's exactly what it is too.
They're very concerning picks too, where it's just like
the arm's not there, right?
Yeah, he's shooting peas into coverage, brother. It's not good.
Peas.
It's not good, man. Just like rhythm throws that are just making me feel like I'm watching Chad Pennington, bro. Dude, it's tough to
I was
see.
gonna say late stage Peyton Manning, but
yeah, it's a good call. And respectfully, late stage Matt Ryan as well. Same type of thing with like the foot speed too.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, I was like, man, I don't think you can get to the top of your drop without getting sacked. You're so freaking slow. Boy.
Let alone get the ball out on time with the routes you're running.
Oh my God. Yeah. Painful. Weekly huddle. says the number one sign that an owner is unserious about winning and is poorly run is how long it takes them to move on from bad general managers. He said bad general managers are a lot easier to identify than bad head coaches, but some teams are willing to move through one quicker than the other.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I agree with you that I don't know that I agree with that, because I think it's easier to identify a bad head coach than it is.
I agree. There's much more tangible measures.
Yeah.
Whereas an executive, there's projection involved. You're trying to shop for groceries for a specific coach, and if there's scheme change, players might not manifest the way that you thought that they would. You're not just going to blanket fire a GM and a coach every time something doesn't work. I think the team building exercise is much more complicated than maximizing the resources that you have on any given week to win a football game and solve the problems that another team poses and challenges you with. I
do think where teams might have some trouble is like when they come in at different times and you're not sure if there's like super aligned. Like think about with the Raiders and even some of that commentary already with Telesco and Pierce. It's like, they're like, what did Davis say? It was like, these are two individual people that were brought in at individual times. It's like, well,
why'd you do that?
Does that ever really work well where one's before the other,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are. People are probably listening, and there's examples.
There's certain places that have certain degrees of stability. You think about Philadelphia with Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
And, like, he's done several builds, but he has earned the trust of ownership and has enough reps at successfully going through a team life cycle as the executive there and being able to transition you through it and into the next one.
Yeah.
That there are cases of that, but and I would say Howie's probably the exception too, because and I know there was some dynamics with Chip Kelly and personnel and who had ultimate personnel control when Chip Kelly was there, but like it took Howie a really long time to like win a playoff game as an executive in the NFL.
Well, contrast that to the Jets, right? Joe Douglas survives coaches. Just not always a good situation.
So Howie Roseman did not. He was the general manager of the Eagles starting in 2010, and head coach had personnel authority for his first 3 years. But they went 10-6, 8-8, 4-12, and then they went 10-6, 10-6. They still have not won a playoff game through 5 years. And then they go 7-9, 7-9. Still have not won a playoff game. The year they won the Super Bowl in 2017 was the year Howie Roseman won his first playoff game as an executive of football team. So you give credit to Jeffrey Lurie for understanding that Howie's in this position, but we have, Andy Reid. And then the thing falls off with Andy Reid, and then we move on and we bring in Chip Kelly, and then there's weird dynamics there with Chip and personnel. But to survive that, I think that's a testament to Jeffrey Lurie as an owner, to not just say, we need to bring somebody in with Doug Peterson, or we need to bring somebody in with Chip versus Howie, who was here with Andy Reid.
All right, coming up next, playoff seeding, and you'll never guess who has a question about that. Folks, be sure to stick with us. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. You know, I've been big on the underdog money lines this year. Hit on the Rams last night. They were the underdog.
We didn't jinx them.
No, we did it. We did the thing. I'm in on Seahawks over the Packers plus 126. Bucks over Chargers plus 132. I'm in on the Dolphins over the Texans plus 126. I know Kyle, he likes the Patriots to beat the Cardinals plus 215. Nice little payout there. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Who has a question about playoff seeding?
Here it is from Waddles.
No, We're not doing this.
The NFL playoff seeding should be strictly based on record and not take into account division winners. The same in college. Conference champs get into the playoffs, but seeding should be based on ranking only. You'll never guess what team Waddles is a fan of.
What team?
The Packers, who are...
Oh, they're the 9-4-6 seed. I thought Waddles was like a Dolphins thing, and I was going to say, want to know.
Oh, no. That's... No. Yeah, I understand why you would think that, but no, he or she is a Packers fan.
I don't know. The rules are pretty well established and have been for a really long time, right? Like,
then step one is don't have divisions.
Don't lose to the Lions.
Yeah, step one, don't lose to the Lions.
Yeah.
But also, if it's structured, the whole thing's built for this. They got 32 teams divided by 16 divided by 4. You play the division twice. Like, the whole thing is built on where you finish in your division and how that impacts your scheduling. So, like, okay, fundamentally change all of that first. It's set up for you to have to win your division. So you got to do away with all that if you're going to start talking about this.
Yeah, just win your division. Easy for me to say.
Right.
As a fan of a team who has won once since 2000, I think. Just win your division.
Yeah, it was.
Let's push for realignment, though. Let's get some divisional realignment going. I don't know that it's going to help the Packers, but there's some teams out there that it really would help.
You mean, like, what would your criteria be? More geography based, or just like just switching it up to switch it up, like the World Cup to have draws or something? You know, like here's what I don't like about the NFL scheduling, and I do this whenever I do my primers on Locked On Bills. You know, I always say the all-time series history. And so, like, for the Bills and the Chiefs, it'll be like the 75th all-time meeting. If it's the Bills and the Dolphins, it's like the 180th all-time meeting. For the Bills and Lions, it's the 13th all-time meeting for two teams that have existed since 1960. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see those games a little bit more. And I like that we at least have the one floating divisional one floating cross-conference game every year. But
I don't think either one of us should like it this year, though. Because you got to play the Lions.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not
great.
You
want to play them once, and you want to play them at the end of the rainbow. You don't want to play them now.
100%. But like, the point being is, it's fun. It's fun to see those types of games, and you know, it's like you watch a game. It's like Browns and Seahawks. You're like, man, that game just never freaking happens. You know, I don't know. I like seeing those matchups. But no, win your freaking division or just change the whole structure of the league. August says, growing up in an Italian household, we always ate lasagna on the 25th. But as I've grown older, I've realized something. And here's the take. The ideal Christmas dinner is prime rib. A rich, extravagant cut of meat is the perfect way to close out and celebrate the year.
Well, I don't think I've ever had prime rib on Christmas.
I haven't either.
Your last name's Marino.
Yeah.
You guys do lasagna on Thanksgiving?
We typically, and I wouldn't say that we did it this year, but we typically do have some type of an Italian dish. So it could be lasagna, it could be rigatoni, goulash, something like that. Always when my dad was with us, that certainly happened. But I think the interesting thing here, and I don't know if you do this or not, but for us, I would say most of the time, Christmas is a copy paste of Thanksgiving for the meal. And what I like about what August is suggesting here is variety. Like, you don't have to just have turkey twice.
Right. We do ham on Thanksgiving instead of turkey. But like all the other stuff is generally the same.
The same. See, what the thing about us is we have ham and turkey, but I'm not eating the ham if there's turkey available.
I like ham.
I smoked the ham a couple weeks ago. Boy, it was good.
Okay, so there you go. Now you can start eating the ham on Thanksgiving.
Here's the thing, though. This is one thing that I've adopted personally, is I don't think that you should only have ham and turkey on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. Like, it is not uncommon for me to in the middle.
Smoke turkey.
Yeah, I did it
whenever you want.
Whenever I freaking want to.
And they're actually a lot cheaper when it's not Thanksgiving too.
Sometimes I paid a lot for the turkey that I smoked in June, but yeah.
Okay.
Evan says Robert Saleh and Brian Flores both get an interview for head coaching jobs this offseason, and then whomever of the two doesn't get it will hire the other one to be their DC. And just because it's the holidays, gift cards aren't gifts. He says gift cards are gifts. I know that some people don't like to give them out, but it's better.
We do gift cards for like the kid teachers and stuff like that.
Yeah. With Robert, that's not going to happen. Those are fundamentally completely different defensive minds that if they're head coaches, they're going to call their defense. Come on now.
Right. Robert Saleh is what Shanahan disciple has a defensive coordinator opening. That's where Robert Saleh is going to go.
And that will happen, I'm sure.
Is it?
I mean,
I don't think they'll throw Chris Shula. I think he'll probably be safe in LA. Does Anthony Weaver get a head coaching job out of Miami?
Let's hope.
Because that
I don't want to see him with players. I don't want to see Weaver with players, man.
We might be getting close. Happy Odell Beckham cut opens up spot for Bradley Chubb Day.
Don't want to see it. You know, my nightmare is the Dolphins are the 7th seed, and we got to play them. I don't want that.
No, yeah, the only Bills fans sweating that matchup. I can promise you that.
No, I don't know. Gift cards, yeah. I'm not a big adult gift giving person, but yeah, I don't mind gift cards. We'll close on this one, Bub. The New York Jets would be back-to-back Super Bowl champions if not for curses on the franchise holding Aaron Rodgers and company back.
Yeah, and if we didn't have any personality-driven sports programs, I think they'd be in a lot better place.
You think this guy's going to quarterback some team next year? Who's signing up for that?
He's going to go somewhere because there's going to be a need, and I don't think he's done. The real crying shame is he can't finish the Favre special and then do 2 years. Was Brett in New York for 2 years or 1 year? 1 year, and then went to Minnesota?
And it got good in Minnesota.
Right. Like the funniest thing in the world would be for him to go to Minnesota to end, but obviously with McCarthy there, and I don't know. I can see a team who's going to be on the outside looking in that needs a quarterback in the draft order.
Well, so the Giants and Raiders to me are the most quarterback needy teams.
And you feel like they'll probably be in good shape, right?
What about Tennessee?
No, man, they're not going to.
Kind of a good fit for the style of offense. Cleveland?
I don't think Cleveland can afford it. You know what? Maybe not. Now that I'm looking at this.
Who's the A-Rod team, man?
Because he's not going to sign somewhere to be a backup.
No.
And I don't think there's really a lot of spots where you have a retirement looming that would open up a vacancy that's unexpected, right?
I don't think so.
Detroit, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's re-signing Russ.
Pittsburgh.
They wouldn't deal with that either. They'd say thanks, but no thanks. They'd tell them to kick rocks. Green Bay, Houston, Baltimore, Seattle, Denver, Chargers, Commanders, Bucks. We got nothing so far, right?
Nothing so far.
Where are we at on time? Okay, we've got about a minute. Rams. Stafford retire?
Is he retiring?
I'm asking.
He's 5 years younger than Rodgers. I'm going to say he's not going to.
I'm probably not either, but I'm just asking hypothetically if it were to happen. Arizona, no. Atlanta, no. Indianapolis, no. Miami, no. San Francisco. Go back to Cal. Probably not. Dallas has Dak. Saints can't afford him. Bengals, no. Bears, no. Browns, I don't know that they can afford him. I don't know. I might say no. He's going to get the Bill treatment to bring this podcast full circle. And then he'll
go be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
That's going to do it for us here on Locked On NFL Scouting. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. We hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy week 15. We will be back on Monday to break it all down. We hope to see you then.